We may have the time for one or two short questions, if there is any. Sir, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mic is coming.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all of you for the excellent remarks. I think it was a very comprehensive, dealing of the subject. So thank you for that. Two things. I must say I agree with all of you regarding food supply. I mean, over the past 10 years, global food production has actually increased from 2.5 billion tons per year to 3.1 per capita. That's about 2,800 calories 10 years ago to 3,000 now. That's a 7% increase. But obviously, Mr. Abdallah, I think, touched on that point that it's the quality of the food is obviously, we don't know if it's been better quality or not. That's one issue. And the second issue, obviously, is availability and distribution, which is just not evenly distributed.
I'm sorry, we have very little time, so your question, please.
One thing that I think one aspect that we're missing regarding affordability is actually that commodities worldwide mostly are traded in US dollars. US dollar over the past 4 years has depreciated 25%, which means actually that food prices have increased 25% for many countries around the world. And I'd just like to ask you, in the geopolitical terms, there's a lot of talk about de-dollarization and so on, moving away from the dollar, bilateral trade. How do you think this affects affordability in the future?
Okay, thank you, sir. Maybe, is there another question in the room? Because we have very little time. Sir, yeah, thank you. But please, please be very brief. We have only 2 minutes left.
Just 1 minute. I'm from Israel and just want to raise one of the nice things happens in Israel about food. There is an organization, a non-profit organization, which creates a situation we call collection. What they do, it go to every place in which they have a lot of food and a lot of weddings, etc. And they collect all the food that rests over there and spread it to the needy people, which work fantastic. They arrive to really use big quantities of food, which usually will be thrown to the garbage, and feed by that people who need it.
Okay,
I think it could be
so not a question, but just an information you would like to share. Thank you. So we have 1 minute left. Some of you would like to address the exchange rate issue.
Well,
yeah, you as well.
On the dollar issue, well, it's simple. All commodities markets, be it food, be it energy, be it metals, are in this world quoted in dollars. Point. I know that, for example, at the recent BRICS meeting in Kazan, they said, well, we should try to develop a new commodity market eventually in Moscow in order to be able to quote products in another currency. You won't quote them in ruble. For the moment, the minimum price which the Russian government is trying to put in the Black Sea, it's in dollar. So I think it's a non-subject. The world, all world markets are in dollar, and well, you profit of it sometime. Sometimes you suffer from it. You have to live with it. Normally, you have a correlation on a long-term basis when the dollar raises, commodity prices go down, and when dollar goes down, commodity prices quoted in dollar go up. That works more or less, even though that right now the dollar is also a commodity currency because US are exporting natural gas, energy products, etc. So the correlation is less effective. But
Philippe,
don't dream, you will never, even though, for example,
sorry,
wheat prices,
Philippe,
prices are quoted in Europe, in euro, but you translate it immediately in dollar.
Thank you.
Well, sorry.
Bayu, before we get ousted of the stage, 10 seconds, because you wanted to say a word on...
Yes, I think the first, we now, at least from this panel, we can say the most important thing is not only food security, but nutrition security. That's one point. Second, probably, again, trade and private sectors is very important for combating hunger. And trust becoming key again and again, like in health as well as in food. So we need to build that trust again so we can solve hunger problem.
I see that Máximo is back on the screen. Have we got 1 minute or not? Máximo, I'm sorry, we are ousted of the stage because we have to leave the room for the next session. I'm sorry for the technical issue of communication. We apologize for that. We thank you also for giving your time, dedicating your time from Rome. Great applause to our panelists who have done a great job. Thanks so much. Thanks once more for the WPC for this agri-session.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the next session, we would like to remind you that we will be hosting our guests this evening at the Beach House for a private World Policy Conference reception, which is near the beach on the same property. If you would like to join us, the ladies at the registration desk will be able to provide more information.